Hi viewers, my name is Ben Gray. Welcome to my YouTube channel at Newsworthy Publications. I'm an amateur journalist dedicated through these videos to exposing the most egregious corruption within the High Court and Bristol judiciary, within the Avon and Somerset Constabulary, Bristol CPS, and various civilians, in particular security guards, connected to the cases that are canvassed in my various videos. This particular video is simply a public notice to draw attention to the corruption that I'm complaining about, the manner in which it is colluded in by various journalists. This particular video is just a short public notice video to draw attention to the fact that the extent to which various journalists are also colluding in the serious criminality I'm complaining about within the judiciary. As I say, in particular, there's a Dominic Casciani, and he has been. I referred him to an email that which was dated the 3rd of June 2024. And this provided him with a link to my documentaries. My email simply said, "Dear Sir, Madam, I'm hoping to generate interest in evidence of judicial connivance in all manner of heinous wrongdoing, brackets, i.e. sexual assault, kidnapping, perverting public justice, perjury, etc., close brackets, as set out in my YouTube channel at Newsworthy Publications. The link for which is below with newsletter attached." And then, of course, we have the link. And of course, that was sent the 3rd of June. It's now the 20th of July. No acknowledgement has been received. And he's one of several journalists I've contacted through the email address provided, for members of the public to get in touch with stories. And this just simply demonstrates the extent to which the sort of corruption I'm talking about. Of course, I've produced new videos since then, in particular Judge Martin Picton Must Fall, parts 1 and 2. And this also exposes evidence of child abuse that are further to these other allegations of corruption that I'm complaining about. And does this not, viewers, demonstrate the extent of utter third world-esque corruption that this country has fallen to? Surely, if somebody is contacting them with hard evidence of video, by way of video evidence, which my documentaries contain, then you would have expected within a couple of weeks or so for someone to at least acknowledge and show some interest in such serious allegations, especially if they are provided with evidence to support them. But instead you simply get stonewalled. You don't even get an acknowledgement, much less any interest. And of course, it's important to point out that when judges are being accused, in particular, of criminal wrongdoing, the approach or the assertion is that if you go to the official website, the judicial website, they claim that judges are immune from prosecution, which itself is simply untrue. The rulings of R.V. Bembridge and R.V. Llewellyn-Jones both establish there is a long-held precedent that judges can be, and of course in my view should be, prosecuted to the full extent of the law and sentenced to long times in prison if there's evidence of judicial misconduct in public office. So we've already got the extent of collusion between the press and the official line from the judicial government website, which no one takes any interest in terms of the journalists, that the official website is already founded on complete fabrication, that judges are immune from prosecution and therefore presumably immune from investigation. They can only get away with that because the journalists are hand in glove with the corruption from the judges that I'm complaining about. And even if they were immune, that surely would not prevent journalists from investigating and exposing criminal wrongdoing complained of, especially of the most highest degree, such as lying in public office, colluding in child abuse, perverting justice, torture, kidnapping, all the sort of allegations that I'm setting out in my channels, in my videos. if anything, it should be all the more reason to expose them through the free press, even if they are immune from prosecution or investigation by the criminal authorities, because that is the nature of the fourth estate, that they are supposed to be the final tier of oversight that the public have in terms of judicial misconduct. And of course, we know of stories, or some stories, that do reach the press where judges have made ridiculously biased or ridiculously corrupt rulings. There's the recent decision of District Judge Ikram, for instance, who gave a tap on the wrist, no punishment at all. I think it was being bound over or something along those lines, for terrorist offences, where a couple of females were seen advertising Hamas or displaying symbols related to terrorist organisations. And that made the press, and there was some outrage about that. There was another recent case, even more recent, where an individual, an asylum seeker, was found to have found guilty of harassing females. Other asylum seekers were robbed a Rolex. Neither of them were given prison sentences, and were given very lenient sentences, and that there's some interest in that from the right-wing press. We didn't even know who the names of the judges were in that case. But of course, that isn't necessarily, or some would argue, that isn't necessarily corruption in and of itself, although I would argue it is. But in any event, the more serious allegations that I'm making, in terms of deliberate, orchestrated collusion in and ordering of basically extrajudicial torture, kidnapping, perjury, perverting justice, misconduct in public office, child abuse, these sort of allegations, which in my case I fully support, as you can see from the video links that I'm going to provide in a moment, set out below, where there's no interest at all from the press and no reaction or response to them. And in this case, it's Dominic Casciani from the BBC, who's the head of crime reporting or court reporting for the BBC. And what is the difference? I would ask you, viewers, to consider. What is the difference between turning a blind eye, stonewalling those who have provided links to glaring and clear evidence of the most wicked and evil forms of corruption and collusion in kidnapping of members of the public, and colluding in it themselves and advocating it being carried out themselves? This is the true nature of the fascist corruption in this country that needs to be exposed in and of itself. Because, as I say, what possible excuse do these journalists have when they have been referred to such serious allegations and they treat that person as though they do not actually exist? There is really no difference between that and simply acting as that further tier of corruption that has been complained of with the against the various judges or police officers or whoever they may be. So please, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I refer you to the link below in terms of the actual videos. In particular, the three ones that are currently online: Barbarians at the Gate, Judge Ralton, the Demon Butcher of Bristol, and Judge Martin Picton Must Fall. These three videos, sometimes in several parts, show document by document, video by video, clear, hard, irrefutable evidence of the form of torture and kidnapping and perjury and perverting justice and child abuse that I'm complaining of in this video. I invite you to go on the link and judge for yourself whether there's any veracity to my allegations. And